Hi, welcome to today's video. This video is going up late, as usual for me, but this is my June bullet journal setup. I feel like the past 3 months or so, these have gone up late, and that's because I've been doing them quite late. Really, it's been like the middle of the month, and that's just because, I don't know, time's been getting away from me lately. But here we are. This month, I decided to make the theme, like, coffee, I guess. It's not much of a theme, I just drew a few coffee cups around. If you've watched my other bullet journal videos, you may be aware that I never have that strong of a theme. It's very much just like plain. For me, it's all about the utility. But yeah, welcome to the video. I actually intended on doing this like before the month even started. I had done the original like kind of sketches because I pre-planned it all. And then I just never actually did it. I've been having a bit of a rough time and it has not been a priority lately, but it's fine. I'm doing okay. So in terms of the video, because that's why we're here, I was trying to find a brown marker of some sort. I didn't really plan ahead. I completely forgot about that, to be honest, and I don't know if I like the way it turned out. It looks a little weird, but I found a brown that I liked and yeah, used it. But I think that I will stick to having very minimal spreads because it's just, I don't know, I'm not that great at visual art, so yeah, I can't draw to save my life. I don't know what situation I'd be in where drawing would save my life, but if I did, I probably wouldn't survive. So that's my title page done, and we're moving on to the calendar. I don't know about my setup in terms of filming because my new desk is very dark and it's a little bit difficult because it's small as well. I've always had a bigger words are so hard. I've always had a bigger desk, but this one's quite small, which I like. I wanted a small desk, but it makes filming a little bit more difficult. So the angle is maybe a little bit funny and the colour is weird because the desk is so dark, but I don't mind. I like that it looks a bit dramatic. I actually love this desk. I was looking at it online for months before I bought it, and then I ended up buying it kind of on a whim. My friend took me to IKEA, like, as a surprise, and then I just bought it. Luckily, the box was quite small and it fit in her car, but yeah, speaking of that friend, her, we caught up the other day and we were talking about the fact that in my last video I said she wasn't a bad influence about when we go shopping and such. I completely take that back. She's a horrible influence when it comes to me spending money. Yes, I'm calling you out right now. It's fine, it's not that serious, but I spent so much money the other day, oh my god. But it's fine, because I like what I got. I got some very pretty books, a collection of Edgar Allan Poe, and a collection of fantasy short stories, because I want to do some research for a story I'm writing. I don't read all that much fantasy, and when I do, it's bigger series that I kind of follow along with. So things like the Shadowhunter series, so, you know, more urban fantasy. I don't know the last time I read like a high fantasy novel. But yeah, I've got some short stories to read and I'm excited about it. But we were about to leave and we walked past Dymocks, which, if you don't know, is a bookstore in Australia. It's like one of the biggest chain bookstores. And I genuinely ran, like I screamed and ran, grabbed a book off the shelf and went straight to the register and bought it. Because I saw One Last Stop sitting on the shelf and was so excited. I'm so desperate to read that book. Casey McQuiston is one of my favourite authors, even though I've only read Red, White and Royal Blue from her because that was her debut. But I've read that book, I think, 36 times. Yes, that sounds absolutely crazy. I've read this one book 36 times. But to be fair, most of those times were not me physically reading it. It was like audiobook. But still, I love that story, and I'm so excited to read One Last Stop. I don't think it's going to be the same. I know a lot of people kind of make the assumption that an author is going to stick to one type of story. That's not at all why I'm reading it. I just love her writing, and from what I've heard about One Last Stop, it's going to be an awesome story and very up my alley, so I'm very excited. But wow, I haven't been paying attention to the actual bullet journal. Where are we? We're doing the weekly spread. I'm including today, so today is Sunday. And I'm only doing the week that I'm up to rather than filling it out for the whole month that has already passed, because that's a waste of space. But the page before this was a kind of different page than what I usually do, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So here is a kind of flip through. We're going to go back in and do some more stuff, but here you can see the title page. We then have the calendar page, and then here we have my goals, things to do, and a section for notes. I also put a little bit at the bottom of the calendar of things that are happening next month. I have some birthday parties and such that I just put in there to remember. Yeah, and then there is the week. But then I decided to just go in and fill out some of the things that I have to do and some of the upcoming events. My camera did cut off for a part of that, so I don't have all of that. But yeah, now it's time for the final flip through. Overall, I'm happy with how this turned out. Again, it's quite plain, but I like that. If you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, then sorry, I guess. Feel free to subscribe. My social media links are below, and I'll see you next time.